Hello, Dockster. Hello, Zupadan. Welcome to the chat. I hope that hope the game isn't too loud compared to my voice. But I'm currently playing the unreleased port of Midnight Wanderers by Domkid. So this is one of the only NeoGeo first games for Scorpion Engine. So even though this is only... Oh, just about to run out of time, I'd better move on. 4, 3, 2... No. Okay, I should try to speed run it this time. But anyway, as I was saying, this is only this is only under development for NeoGeo at the moment, I believe. But it would be cool to see like an Amiga AGA port at some stage. Hi Flibble, welcome to the chat. Yeah, I think Domkid is one of the only Scorpion developers that has really made a serious attempt to get games running on all three of the main platforms. In fact, one of his games, he's already released it for Amiga and Mega Drive, and we had worked on getting the NeoGeo release of that same game working. I don't know if that was ever finished. Hi, Thermal Monkey, welcome to the chat. Okay, so Dockster is asking how this game has the transparent UI on bottom. That is, whoops, I'm not doing very good at this level. That is actually a feature of the NeoGeo. The NeoGeo sort of has a like a dual playfield type system built in that. For its UI, so that front plane there with the transparent UI that can't be scrolled or anything. That's fixed to the screen. And for NeoGeo, Scorpion's always supported that natively, but we don't currently have any support for an on-screen transparent UI for Amiga, unless you're doing something like using sprites for it, like if you've seen the Addams Family on Amiga, it's got most of its UI is sort of a thin strip down the left side. You should be able to do that in Scorpion for Amiga, but for something like this where you've got a transparent AI, where you've got a transparent UI, you can only really do that on Mega Drive and NeoGeo at the moment. Whoa. Might... Oops. The doctors are asking if Amiga must use panels. Yes. Well, in fact, so this UI on NeoGeo is configured as a panel. Just not as a panel that's only above or only display, only above and or only below the screen. One advantage the Amiga does have is that the vertical resolution is higher than the NeoGeo, so you could fit those panels, well, those top and bottom UI, you could actually fit it above the main game display on Amiga and not have to lose any of that vertical real estate, or vertical screen real estate. So it wouldn't be overlapping the game, but the game wouldn't need to lose any resolution to make it all fit. Zupadan says Amiga can't do transparent panels in hardware unless it's a lit or a sprite. Yeah, basically that. At some stage in the future, I'll support dual playfield, and dual playfield, I might allow the option to have like a panel that you know, you use the dual playfield as your UI, but that might not be for a while. And even then, it's like fairly limited utility because it's, you know, if you've got dual playfield, you want to use it for parallax generally. You would only really use it for something like UI, I think, if you were doing like a first-person shooter or something where you wanted, or like a tank game or a flight sim where you wanted the cockpit or something like that to overlay the screen. Zupadan says, I would love if Scorpion Engine supported dual playfield. Probably never use that for UI though. No, that's fair. I think that's one of the major features for the next update of Scorpion Engine next year. Will be getting dual playfield for Amiga going. And I'm hoping to support it in at least a couple of different ways. So one way will be, yeah, just as your traditional parallax. But I also wanted to support it in a non-parallax mode for example, Mega Typhoon on Amiga. That was practically a bullet hell on OCS. That had a lot of you know, it was a shooter that was very smooth. It had a lot of on-screen bullets, a lot of on-screen enemies, and that worked partly because it was in a dual playfield mode where, because it didn't need to redraw the tiles for any of the, for anything it was blitting on, it was able to blit to the screen much faster. With the parallax system on Mega Drive, you can use it for, well, I mean, obviously you can use it for parallax, but you can also use it for UI, and what some people do is they might have, like, the top bar of the screen is where your UI is, and underneath that is all of your layers of scrolling parallax. Doxa said, so if this kind of HUD is possible for Amiga somehow, could you show it on tonight's workshop? Well, I can get into the workshop section right now, actually, because I played through them and I Wanderers a couple of times. I didn't really have a different game lined up, so I can show you one project that does use a kind of on-screen UI. If we go to the All Games and let me go to Fox. So this one has a very simplified on-screen UI, and it does it through taking advantage of the parallax system. So because the parallax system is vertically multiplexing, we don't really waste any sprite channels on the UI. I guess I might as well leave it in track disk mode, and I'll just make sure it's working. I'll try to show it in game what the on-screen UI looks like. Doxa said, well, that took a while is because of the track disk build. Let's say 42 seconds. There is a fair bit in this one. So we've got, we've got 6 levels. We've got the all of the parallax panels. There's a fair few animations. I think maybe about 40 seconds might be about average. Although, of course, the other thing is I've only just opened this project, and this project is running from, like, it's not running from an SSD. So I think 40 seconds is about what I expect. And yeah, there is a bit of an overhead with compiling it for the track disk format as well, I think. Oh, okay, so I've missed a few other messages in chat. Firmal Monkey says, hi, Eric. Just wanted to say thank you for all your great work with Scorpion Engine. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Doxa seconds that. Thank you. And Zubadan said, did I ever tell you how awesome SC is? Well, it's how awesome Scorpion Engine is and how much the Amiga community appreciate works. If not, then I'm doing that now. Thanks. That's thank you so much for all the kind words. I really appreciate it. Flibble says you need a cartridge mode like Arcadia. Now that would be that would be cool to have. I can see I've got a bug here. Is it because I have? Yes, okay. It's because of the screen width. There are some bugs when the OCS parallax is right aligned like that. So just ignore that. I'll have another look into that later. But the main thing we want to look at is this UI here. So it's a very basic on-screen UI. We can, if we pick things up, if we pick food up, that increases that food counter. And you'll notice it is a very thin UI because it is using just the sprite channels. Hi Bailey, welcome to the chat. I'm glad you could make it. Anyway, so going into how that works. So if we look at the UI, and I'll just change the grid properties so it's a little bit more clear what's going on here. So basically, the OCS parallax system makes the full rotation of the parallax basically an animation. So it splits it up into different frames. For the UI here, I have that configured as as what I call the cloud parallax. And so since it's so cloud basically means that it doesn't repeat like everything else. So this here is not set to cloud. This the grass and the background there is not set to cloud, and so that repeats across the whole screen. But everything else above here is set to cloud, and so what that means is that when we're playing it in the game, we don't have it's cloud repeated. We just have one cloud on screen, and so we're doing the same for this, but we've also got it set to a variable. So we have so for example for lives we've only got it so you have between 0 and 9. So I've got the divisions as set as 10 with the food. I've called it the coins variable, and I've set it as max value of 99 with the divisions of 10. So what that will do is that when I have more than so it's going to update the right hand side of the sprite whenever I get more food, but when I get more than 10, because it's a division of 10 and the max value is more than 10, that left side is going to wrap around as well. And so Doxter is asking, it's nice, probably limit how big that HUD is. Well, yes, so that is the maximum size horizontally. Vertically, it can be the size of the whole screen, and so you see that in. Let's look for Adam's Family Amiga. So actually, I'll just go to Lumen Amiga so I can open a static screenshot. So if you look at Adam's Family, it looks like they're using the exact same concept. They've got this very thin UI that covers the entire screen. And so that sort of thing would be possible in Scorpion Engine. It would be possible to remake Adam's Family in Scorpion Engine with this exact kind of UI. But at the moment, there's no ability to make it wider than that. Okay, well, I think that will do for the sprite parallax, sprite UI. I'm going to get stuck into Halo 0. So I've done a little bit of work on the project off stream. I mainly wanted to hook up a few of the animations that I didn't have before. I think I added the yeah, for the marine, I added the run animation and the shoot animation. You're welcome, Doxter. Anyway, I'm just going to run the game as is. Hi, Mixels. Welcome to the chat. Sorry you missed the start. It's going to be on the streaming on demand. Now, one thing that if you watched the previous stream, you would have seen that I had problems with the getting the tiles, the background tiles dithed. I ended up switching to using a different different tool for that. See if I can find it here. Yep. Okay, so tiled palette quant, what that does is that will take an image and it will reduce its amount of colors, it will dither it. It will do a few different passes to try and make it look as good as it can. With all automated tools, it's not going to be as good as a good artist doing it manually, but it seems okay, and it will do it very quickly. The main use for this is actually for like Mega Drive and NeoGeo conversions, where you've only got like you might have 4 palettes on Mega Drive, and you've got 16 colors per palette. But you can just have one palette, and then I'll say, well, I want it to be 16 colors, and then OCS Amiga would be 4 bits per channel. I may use this later if I need to make any changes to the tile set. But this seems to be the best solution for reducing the number of colors and doing a reasonably nice looking diff. Now I'm just going to move player back to the start. Okay, so I've got this marine in following me. But following me is all he does. He doesn't have any AI for fighting the Covenant. Also, he shouldn't be. He tends to get stuck in. Depending where I'm standing, he can get stuck like that. I might need to review his code. Mm. Okay, For one, I'm not using this. I'm not using that code anymore. Um, Mixel said he was confused by slopes. I thought that for a second, but no, it's actually just because he has this walk cycle, and he doesn't stop to think until he's reached the end of the walk cycle, and so he's just constantly bouncing between two states. But I've got a thought about how a better idea for handling it. Because we want him to also be facing the same way that the Master Chief is facing, so that they're shooting in the same direction. So if I go and player X facing is greater than 0, and we also want to do the same here, and player X facing is less than 0. Yep. So so the Marine is going to be constantly following what I'm doing, and yeah, I mean, I think that works fairly well as as an AI just to start with. Did look a little bit wonky falling on that box, but we'll come back to that. I just noticed it looks a little bit wonky running with the gun. I might want to look at making it so that his legs and his torso are separate, like they are with the Master Chief. It's just because we're rescaling a whole bunch of frames, and so if the rescale is handled slightly differently, then it becomes a little bit wonky with well, it doesn't. It's not a it's not completely consistent at the top half there. Although, having said that, I think his upper body does bob up and down a little bit when he runs. But anyway, so we've got him walking around. He doesn't respond in any way to the Covenant, so we need to solve that. So just on how slopes work in Scorpion Engine, so we use these special blocks that are set to slope, and they're invisible, but it still can see the pixel data, so that we know where the slope is exactly. It was Adrian Cummings who, so he's a legendary Mega developer who I think he's only recently retired from developing Mega games, but he had been working on them since the late 80s. He told me that the best way to handle it is if your 16 by 16 areas have an array of heights, and so that's what Scorpion does. Is it just checks, like it does a cast downwards from the player to see if it's overlapping this particular these solid pixels. Right, so so I've got the state machine handler for the Marine, so that when it's finished its current state, so for example, when it's finished when it's finished the run, then it will check what it should do next. And so currently at the moment it will either stop moving or it will move to where the player is. We need to add a method to detect if it can see a covenant. If it can see a covenant, then it should start opening fire. Now we've got this. We've got the hit scan loop. Actually, I'm going to make some changes here. I don't want to check if it's dead as part of there. I was going to create a new actor called something like corpse. Okay, so I'm going to create a corpse actor, and so that is not going to have well, that tag is just going to be corpse. It's not going to be tagged like enemies, so it's not going to interfere with the raycast. And so if I go handler enemy, go health less than 0, then we also want to actor set state type. Set type to corpse. And so that corpse factor, I can use it for both the player and the enemies and the other marines. Okay, so we've got this hit scan loop. Actually, while I remember it, so one thing I needed to fix for this is that at the moment it doesn't have any height checking. So if we go to so this was one of the other things that I changed is I have this set position event here. So that sets the X origin and the Y origin variables of the of the raycast, so that it's able to see it's able to only hit things that are ahead of that muzzle flash. So if the enemy is standing right there, just sort of behind the front of the gun, they won't get hit. But that also sets height information and or the Y position. We don't currently have a way of determining if we were too high or too low for the shot to hit. So we can check if it's too low to hit quite easily. We can just go condition if actor Y is greater than the HSY origin. Flibble is asking if absolute always gives a positive value. Yes, by definition, absolute always gives a positive value. Now, what I'm going to do here is create a lookup table. And the reason we're creating a lookup table is because we want to store the height of the enemy. So I'll call this heights. And then I just need to say, well, the height of elite rifle equals. Oh, I don't. Okay, apparently I've said it's there's a little bit more than that. I'm just going to go 64 for now. Actually, why don't I just make that box there so I can actually read how high that is. So I'm going to say, okay, so 75. And then if I define my lookup table, so variables, lookup table, and then we'll call that heights. Assign a file to it. I could even make that a byte lookup table because height is. I was about to say the height shouldn't be greater than 128, but it may be for the really big guy, the really big enemy, the hunter. But I can come back to it later. I'll just assume it's going to be byte for now. So if I going back to here, I can go if actor. Wait, is that? Okay. So if actor y is less than h. Sorry, I've got this wrong way around. That should be is greater than actor y. And then on this side, if it's less than actor y minus heights actor type. That should be okay. Let's just pile it, make sure that byte alignment error. Okay, all right, so that is a bug I'll need to investigate in Scorpion Engine. For some reason, the it wasn't using a rounded 32-bit value for. Sorry, it wasn't using rounded 16-bit value for the final table of the height. So I'll put that back to word for now. That's something I need to look up in Scorpion Engine, is why it wasn't aligning to. It wasn't word aligning. Everything should be word aligned, even when we have array set to bytes, and so that just means that it basically means that every variable has an even address in memory. So that's I'm going to go back to here, and then I'm going to add because I want to do testing with different different heights. Just want to make sure that I can hit the only hit the enemy in front of me and not the ones that are higher and lower. Okay, so if I shoot here, yep. So I can only hit that one in front of me if I jump a bit. Yep. Okay, that's looking good. I'll make sure that okay, I can't hit the one below me, but if I back up a bit, yep. Okay, now that's that is working exactly as intended. Flibber was asking you waste a byte because of 16-bit alignment, right? Yes. So if I had an array that was, let's say, it was 101 bytes long, I would waste a byte, increasing it to 102 bytes in order to not mess up the memory address of the variables afterwards. But of course, that amount of byte wastage that becomes pretty trivial when you're looking at big arrays anyway. Okay, so so I was going to make a version of this that just detects whether you can actually see an enemy. It doesn't matter whether it's higher or lower. Um, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to call this it's just visual loop, and it's not gonna have the things that I just added. I'll keep the direction for now, so we can only see things ahead of us. It might be good if we have something where like we might decide later in development we want the ability to have stealth, so if an enemy is facing the other direction, they don't see you, they don't start attacking you straight away. Oh, in fact, what I can do here, if I go else if hs direction excuse me, sorry, Flibble was asking, does the original aim up and down? Yes, it does. I'm not planning to have aiming. Well, I'm not planning to have the same kind of aiming. The original game had aiming like Abuse or Walker, where you've got a cursor on screen that you can aim and shoot at things. I'm not going to do that with this version. I might do it so that it's a little bit more like RoboCop, where if you're holding up, then it aims up. Uh, sorry, what I'm doing here is this visual loop. So this is going to be a version of hit scan that doesn't care how high, how high we're looking up and down. This change here we've made is so that we can decide, okay, is it important if we're actually looking in the right direction? Because we might decide, okay, well, we want to have an enemy that looks straight at you as soon as you go onto the screen. It doesn't, and you can't sneak up behind it. And so an observation by Flibble, he says, there's a Doom mechanic, just aim in the correct direction, and of course it will hit what's above and below. I think I'll have that for the Marine at least, so that the Marine doesn't necessarily need to have exactly lined up. Maybe? But the main thing we need to fix now is that the Marine will see the enemy but won't do anything, won't start shooting at them. So that is that's a problem we need to sort out. I can get rid of this because I've verified that yes, the actually I'll spawn the player and a Marine over here, so it's a little bit closer to the action. So I don't need to walk all the way to the other side of the level to test that. So I'm going to rename this to visual scan so it's a little bit more clear what it does, and I'll simplify that as well. So visual scan. So we don't need these variables because I've got it elsewhere. I'm going to just set the best distance to 999, so it should be able to see. Oh no, I'll just make it 320, just about the width of the screen. And then we want that as a visual scan loop. So I need to add another variable here, which is HS tag. And then if I go compare equals HS tag, so that way I can use this for the same code for detecting whether the Marine can see the Covenant or the Covenant can see the Marine. I do need to this as well. So HS direction. I also want HS tag is enemy. Just want to check that that still works. Flibble is asking 320 or 160 wide. I think 320 because most of the time you're looking ahead of you. I think it's okay if it can see a little bit further than the player. It's one of those things I'll just tweak as I go. Okay, yep. All right, so that works as expected. It's going to increase the var3. I'm going to increase it to 8. I think that's about more accurate for how much health the Covenant actually have in the game. Although again, that's something that I'll need to tweak. There was a strategy guide for the original Halo for Xbox that has all of these health stats, and so I should refer to that to try to get it feeling as much like an actual Halo game as I can. Okay. Right. So I need to get this visual scan loop working for the Marine. So if I go to State Machine Marine, let's add a blank statement. So I'm going to say cannot see enemy, so follow player. Go sub-visual scan. There's a few variables here I'll need to set, like the X origin will be actor X. I need to set that to HS tag. I'm going to go addition if HS success. So that's if we were able to see any enemies. Then we want to set the animation to be like marine shoot, and we'll have auto flip, so that takes into account which way we're facing. Flibble is asking what the for each bug was. So when I was working on this off stream, there was a bug where my my hit scan was returning a random enemy, so it would return them out of order, and it was just to do with how I was using the stack. I was getting a bit confused if I had a go sub like that and then a for each. I just needed to so just in Scorpion Engine, just remembering where the stack state was when I do a for each, and so when the for each is done, it will return to where it's meant to do. That solved the problem. Hopefully, that wasn't too confusing. Someone who programs in assembly would know exactly what I was talking about. I'm not sure if many other people would understand exactly what I meant by the stack. Right. Oh, and I need to return here because I want it to shoot, but I don't want it to. I don't want it to do any of these other things. Oh, and I'll make it so that it looks in the. I'll make it so that the Marine can only see in front of the Marine. Okay, so that almost. That almost worked. I realized that the Marine doesn't have the ability to strafe. But I realize that also means I should decrease the distance, because they may. So I should decrease the visual scan distance so they don't stop shooting before they get close enough. But that, although I think that's okay. I don't know. I might have to tweak that, but we can see. Well, the Marine can see the Covenant, so the Marine is open fire. And yeah, if I kill that, if I kill each of them, then it's going to continue walking forward. That is basically working as expected, except of course there's a it needs to handle the Yeah, because it's playing the animation. It's not actually doing the logical shot. So we need to do that set position. And yeah, so what set position does is it lets me align, well, it lets me set a pair of variables to an exact position. Now let's go back to my code here. So I want to reuse as much of this code as possible so that the code for the marine shooting is the same as the code for the player shooting. I just need to verify how have I got my attack code set. Okay, so I've got handler top. I'm going to take this condition out. In fact, I'm going to take out these 3 lines because those lines are specific to the Master Chief. I don't want any of those to specific to the Master Chief in this code. So I will then go back to my top handler, paste that there. Okay, so I'm going to say if control 1 is fire and then our animation tag is different to attack, so that way we're saying, okay, if we're not already attacking, play the attack animation and then go to rifle fire. And then that will do that hit scan. So we can do the exact same thing with our marine state machine for the marine. Instead of having that as return, we can just say go to fire rifle. Now about this animation, the events trigger immediately when when this animation is played. So this XY origin is set immediately when when we run actor animation. And so by the time we go to fire rifle, the X origin and the Y origin is set. Okay, so let's see if the Marine can actually kill our enemies now. Yep, perfect. That is pretty much exactly how I expected the Marine to act. So how much time? Well, we're only an hour into the session. I usually run these for at least an hour and a half. So let's look at what else we can do in this. I guess the obvious thing would be to add some AI to the elite. We'll need to have a we need to have the shot for the Covenant. There we go. Okay, so it is on the sprite sheet. It's very small. I'll still want to downscale it. Okay, so because my ratio is 25 to 16, so if it's 25 pixels before, it should be 16 pixels after I've scaled it, so that everything is consistent scale. So if I go to I need to bookmark scale pix that. So just a reminder what we're doing, we're using the EPX system to scale it up. If you scale it up with that algorithm and then scale it down, it should. I mean, it's not going to preserve everything perfectly, but it does a reasonably good job, at least better than just doing the pixel scale. In fact, I could probably compare it. So if I just did a pixel scale without scaling up, let's see which one looks better. Yeah, I guess it's a little hard to tell because they're pretty small to begin with, but I think this one here preserves the sort of shape of it a little bit better. Whereas this one, clips the edges a bit more. Yeah, it's still not, still not perfect. Someone doing a manual rescaling would be able to do a better job in this, but at the moment, everything is just sort of automated. I can save this as sprites. Projectiles. I don't actually know what the gun is called. I'm just going to check out there. So there is a strategy guide. Hello, guide. Halo walkthrough health points. There's something that has the health points. I think, is this it? This one, okay. Okay, so this one will give me more information about the Covenant weapons. So we've got plasma. Okay, so it's just called plasma rifle. So I should plasma rifle shot. and that sort of gives me statistics I can use to work out how long the animation can play for. Now I'll just verify what I said before about the if we go back to the assault rifle. Okay, so it says damage of 10. Okay, so I was wrong. So I thought it had about 80 health, but it actually has about 200 health. I'm going to adjust. So if I go back to the elite, now because in the original game you've got like for the enemies you've got health and shield as a separate thing. I might just make it so that for the enemies none of them have shields. They're all like a combined health. So I'm gonna instead of 8, I'm gonna say that's 200, and then the rifle it's going to subtract 10 health, and so that way we can have a bit more fine-grained control over how much health they lose. Flibble said I should have the this in the folder, which makes sense. I actually thought I did download it at one stage, but let's put that in zero resources stats. So that will go into the repo, so anyone working on it can use this as a lookup. So I've set 200 health. So by original game, what I mean in this context is the original Halo for Xbox, not the original Halo Zero. I'm not 100% sure how the mechanics work for combat for Halo Zero, but I figured that using the original PC stats or original Xbox stats means that I should be able to get the combat feeling kind of like the original game. Yeah, at least in terms of how long it takes a given weapon to kill a specific enemy. Okay, so I need to add an animation. So I will go to sprites and projectiles, and I'm going to call this projectile projectile elite rifle R, and it's just going to have that. Might as well send to that. And that should be X flipped. Is that gonna? Don't know where the perfect alignment of it is. How big is that? 14. Okay, so that should be about. Okay, so that will do. So that's middle aligned, facing right. I'm going to need to make a shot frame. Also need to work out roughly how many frames it should take to between shots. So if I go to the that plasma rifle, what does it say? Rate of fire 420 to 700. Let me just assume the bottom of that. So if I go 420 divided by say 60 for 60 frame, so for 60 seconds, 30 7, about 4. Okay, so about should have I should have it repeat about 4 frames or so, give or take. It's a value I can tweak, but I'll run with 4 frames to begin with. So what I will do is I need to add the... Which one is the shooting frame? Is it... That one looks like the shooting frame. There we go. So if we line that, and then I'm going to make that just 1 frame. Oh, something else I've not mentioned is I've got the logical frames per second set to 25. So what that means is I might decide, okay, well, the ECS version of the game needs to run at 25 frames a second in order to, be constant frame rate. And so I'm designing all the logic around the assumption that it's going to be 25 hertz or 30 hertz on a NTSC system, but I can control what what our output is. So basically, I can say, okay, well, I want this to be 25 frames a second on OCS Amiga, and I want it to be 50 frames a second on AGA Amiga. It's not it won't be difficult for me to do different outputs at those different frame rates. And it could also be like with Mega Drive, I might decide, okay, well, I'll run it at 25 hertz on Mega Drive, at 50 hertz on NeoGeo. I don't know yet. I think it's just something I'm going to have to experiment with. Okay, so we've got the... Yep, so that's what it's going to look like when the Elite is shooting. We need to add... Flibble is asking, would you not give each bad guy a different fire rate or based on health status? No, the fire rate is, well, per enemy type. Every enemy in Halo only uses 1 weapon, so for that enemy it's going to be consistent. Okay, so I'm going to spawn... I need to spawn the... Oh, I haven't done an active. I need to do an active for the... project elite elite rifle. That will do for the name. Let's put the collision box. Why doesn't that line up? Oh, okay, so it should make this an even number to begin with. Okay, 5 by 5. I'll make that a bit wider. Okay, that will do. I actually... Oh. Yeah, okay, that will do. So when we're overlapping that box, we will get damaged. We need to set a speed. I suppose it's not going to tell us... Let me think about. So the bullets need to be pretty fast. Just set it to 8 in each direction. Now, if I go back to the... Oh, wait, did I not? Ah. I should have made a copy of this. Elite Rifle Shoot. Okay, so this one... I'll get rid of that frame. And I'll set that back to 5 like it was. And then this one... This one I've got the spawn actor. I need to have that set to the projectile. And that looks about right. I don't have a... Actually, I'll use Visual Studio to code this bit. So I'm going to go state machine elite rifle. If I got a tag for... What's my tag for the Marine? I should set a decent sized collision box for the torso as well. Oh, now I've got handler enemy. Do I want to get rid of that? Sorry, what I'm just thinking through is... Okay, because I want this code to run basically immediately when an actor dies, but I so this code here doesn't run immediately, like the state machines doesn't, because it might take more than one frame for a state to finish going through. So what I will do, I need to simplify some of this anyway. So I've got this wait 100 frames before kill. I don't actually need I don't actually need this because I can add that to the animation itself. So if I say this has a delay of 100, and then I'll go destroy. Actually, I'll make it 50 frames because we're so that's about 2 seconds. We'll make it 50 frames. I just need to add a event for. Okay, so I've already got render mode blink. So what I can say is that when we get to this point, oh no, I've already got that set. Okay, so that should just work. So if I go back to our handler enemy, I'll just check that still works. I'll just check that we can. I'll just check that we can still kill the Covenant rifle guys. Yep. Okay, that looks good. And because we've simplified that a fair bit, we can actually get rid of that. And we can put that into the fire rifle. We'll just adjust this so we can say if new health is less than or equal to 0, we can set the new type to corpse. New animation. I want to have some conditions here so that if it's the Marine that we kill, or even if it's the player. In fact, I should have this code in a separate. I'm gonna go kill new.code2. And I'm just gonna go to kill new, and then here. I'll just make a note to do add kill animation for Marine. Okay, so that has simplified things a fair bit. So if I go back to here instead of handler enemy, I can go state machine elite rifle. And I'm going to take the Marine. I'm going to use the Marine's code as a basis. But we want to change it so we only care about the Marine. And if we can see it, then we do the actor animation of, it'll be like elite rifle shoot R. Yeah, elite rifle shoot R. Oh, and don't want to do that. So I want spawn enemy. No, I don't need this. I don't need that code anymore either. I want it to go to the state machine. And also for all of these. So what it does is when this guy's done that frame, it's going to go back to our state machine. Actually, I just realized since the state machine doesn't run on the on timer anyway, I could have kept the on timer that checks the health, but that's That's okay. So because I'm using the state machine like this, where it triggers the next state as soon as the animation is done, then that keeps the timer free for other purposes. Don't need to set it here because that's when they die. Okay, well, got a few problems there. So those bullets were way too slow to begin with. I need to trash them as soon as they leave the screen. So I'll just set recycle trash. Let me have a look at that again. I mean, that's definitely closer to the speed that we want. Um, yeah, I guess that will do for now. What I was asking is, do the enemy weapons, do they have a recharge time? They actually have a they have a reload size. So they actually have shots per charge. I was just thinking, yeah, but it's so it's not going to be very fun with well, it's not going to be very interesting if the all the elite does is randomly well, it just stand there and shoot. So it might add some randomness to the behavior. So if I do a dice roll, and I'm going to make it fairly rare for them to break patterns. So if I say, yeah, let's do a 16. We'll start from 0, so 0 indexed. And then I can add some conditions. So I'm going to go if dice equals 0, and I'm going to say that going to be charge. Mixers Lab says, does Halo Zero have sticky grenades? Actually, it does. So yes, the Covenant should be throwing grenades. There is an animation for it. Somewhere. But yeah, so that's one of the behaviors. There we go. So you can see. Oh, and of course they've actually got like a melee attack. So I should have that as a behavior where you get too close, it will do a melee attack against you. But yeah, we do have a grenade throw here. It seems like it's only one from. Is it one from? No. One, 2 frames. So it's lift and then throw. And your Covenant grenades are sticky, so when they hit you, they are stuck to you. Fortunately, the Master Chief has a recharging shield. What I was doing is, if we get a dice roll of 0, then the actor I'm going to set the direction to move left. We go else if dice. Great. Move right. And I'll just make that a regular else. I should be doing this in Visual Studio, actually. Then out of that. I'll make it even if they can't see anyone. If they do this, then stop moving. I wonder if 16 might be just too extreme. For testing, I'll have it set as 8. And hopefully we're going to see some... Oh, I need to recompile it. Hopefully we'll see some variety in what they do, so they won't just stand there shooting, but they should be a bit more dynamic. They're not very quick when they move. I'll need to check their frame speed. So that needs to be 3, and I should make them the same speed as the Marine. 5, 5. Set all those settings the same. Let's untick that. We don't need can ride platforms. We don't have any moving platforms in the game, so tick all those. Yeah, that's working pretty much as expected. We probably should make it so that so that the projectiles actually do something, so they can actually kill us. I'm going to need to set this one as a projectile. I don't need it as a block collider. But what that basically means is it's set as a projectile. It can damage, it can collide with the player or something that isn't the player. I am going to need to make sure that the projectiles that get shot. So there's some complications here. Like one is there's multiple of these kinds of enemies, and they shouldn't be allowed to hit each other. The other is um, the Master Chief eventually will be able to pick up that gun himself, and so when Master Chief uses a gun, he should be able to hit these enemies, but not hit the player. So what we can do, I'm going to have a new, going to have an alias here, which is new origin type and actor type. And then projectile. I'll use variable 2 for it. So what this will contain is what type the was used by the what type the person who shot it was. So if it was shot by the enemy or the Marines, then we know that it came from the enemies or the Marines, and so we can do a collision based on whether it's the right type or not. So if I go to here and I can add a set variable, and I can go new. What was it? New origin. New origin type. I can say new origin type is enemy. So new refers to the absolute newest entity and that will be that projectile. So we're doing so as an alternative to coding everything in code blocks, we can do some simple coding within the event system, so it's all tied to the actual animation. Let's add a plasma rifle or hit plasma rifle. Actually, no, I'll need to change it to hit projectile. And then if I go to our Marine, I can go on hit by projectile, which will be I was wondering why I couldn't see that code block. It's because I didn't have the right extension. And I'll do the same for the Master Chief. Actually, I'm going to shrink the size of this collision box. Because the torso has its own collision box. And yeah, so that should be all right. And then I can go if new origin type is different to actor tag. Actually, why did I call it origin type instead of origin tag? That would have made more sense. So I'll do that in Visual Studio, so if I go start up. New origin tag. And that actually should be projectile origin tag is different to actor tag. And then I'll just go return. Otherwise, I'm going to go projectile type none. So that will destroy the projectile if it's the kind of actor that it should be damaging. The other thing I needed to fix was that variable name is now invalid, so that should be new origin tag. I could just change this to actor origin tag, and so that makes it consistent. So so I could copy this exactly into the Marine or whoever else is holding that rifle. Hi, it's Talk Dog. Welcome to the chat. So I've just been doing some work on AI for whoops, that was weird. Oh, I know why that is. It's because my collision box is different. So I need to have the same, at least as far as the bottom goes, I need to have the same collision box. Otherwise, it's going to get confused when I'm switching from one state to another state. Doesn't matter so much for the top because I don't think there's anywhere in the game where I need to collide with something above the player. Yep. Now, I'll run that again. It didn't seem to be registering those hits. I think those bullets might still be a bit slow. Yeah, definitely not registering that the projectile is hitting anything. So just because I didn't have the code set for the Master Chief. And that is set to projectile. Let's try that again. Flibble mentioned earlier that we don't really have a way to dodge so much in 2D. We kind of do between ducking and jumping over the shots, which is basically how the original Halo Zero worked. Mm. So there's still something going on. I'll see if it's a bug with this origin tag. No, I've definitely got something messed up with... Oh, look, so I've got... It's shooting that... Spawning that projectile. Projectile elite rifle. Projectile elite rifle is set as projectile. Is it hitting the Marine? I didn't think it was. I'll double check to see if the Marine actually gets damaged by them, or if the Marine stops those bullets coming through. So I just want to see if it's specific to the player. Doesn't appear to. So that Marine's collision box is fairly big. So, and let's have a look. And that is set to that. I wonder what I've done to break the collision system. Oh, okay. No, it was this code here. Did I spell projectile wrong or something? Okay, I don't know what I did. It looks like I spelled projectile wrong or something like that. But I guess that was the only reason. Yep, that gonna make that 16 again, so it's less likely they sort of run off in one of the directions. But anyway, so I'll just check that it's still working with the tag. I still think that bullet should be faster. I just don't know how much faster it should be. I'm a little bit nervous about having it go more than 16 though, because that's a whole tile in a frame. Okay, so that broke it. So let's try. Oh, no, that should be equals. So that way we're saying, well, if the projectile was fired by an enemy, then don't do anything further. So I'll just check that again. Yep, that seems good. So it's only hitting me. It's not hitting the other covenant. Now, do I have the corpse animation for the marine? Yes, I do. So if I go save it in here, if I go marine die R, and I need to do the same events here, which were blink on the last one. Five, then copy frame. That should say duplicate. I always get confused by it saying copy. Then that should trigger our blink code, and then at the end of the cycle it should destroy. How much damage did it say the damage? 10 to 12 to 14. I'm guessing on the hard difficulties it has 14 damage and then just 10 on the easy. What I will do, because projectiles don't really have health per se, I will just use my VAR1, which I'm using for health, to say, let's say a 15 for testing, or 14 for testing, because that's the hard difficulty health damage. And then I can do here, I can go I can go set actor health equals actor health minus projectile. I need to declare a alias for that, so I can go alias projectile health equals projectile var1. Okay, so that subtracts the player's health. Oh, I'll need to do some special handling for the player here, because the player has multiple components like the torso and the legs. So that will do for now. If I have it go to yeah, in fact, I should do a completely separate version of this code for the Master Chief specifically, but this is a generic version that will work for the Marines and the Covenant. So then I can go to kill. Uh, hmm. All right. So since in order to use the same code for the new, because this only works on an actor that's flagged as newest. So if I go set as or is it actor set new actor as new self. So that sets the current actor as being the new actor. And so when I go to here, because it said it's a new actor, I can check the health and then change it to a corpse. And then I can just go. Um, I could do a lookup table for this as well, but just for now, I'm just going to go if new type equals elite rifle. Else if new type equals marine. And I'm just going to make it so that the Master Chief doesn't have doesn't get hit by projectiles, because we want to test the marine thing is working. Also, how many health points does the marine have? I think it has it here somewhere. Characters, humans. Okay, so that's the Master Chief. 60. Okay, so I don't know what armor is in this context, but I'll just assume that it's armor and health is combined. So 65 is 105. So we'll say it has 105 health, and of course we can tweak that as we go. So we'll see if I don't interfere in the fight, is the Marine going to lose? Hopefully the Marine is going to lose, but we'll see. The Covenant behavior might be just a little bit too random to fight efficiently how it is at the moment. We'll just see what happens if I don't do anything. Okay, so that almost worked. It didn't have the didn't play the right animation. It's probably because yeah, because we're losing this because the type is no longer, the type is now a corpse. Can I just, if I take that and then I take away, so don't reset animation, hopefully that will be okay. Let's give that a try. Okay, let's run into battle. Yep, that looks good. I was thinking about making it so that if I was standing... Whoa, okay, that was weird. Oh, okay, so must be a couple of bugs with okay, so I need to go override direction and move left. And so what that will mean is that it will force it to shoot in that direction. The other problem was it wasn't facing the the Master Chief when it started shooting. So we can fix that in the state machine. So I can go if new x is less than actor x, actor direction. They just look left. Clever was asking, is move left different to look left? Yes, because move left will typically change the speed, whereas look is just changing the direction. Oh, okay, we got we do have a bug here in that projectile elite rifle. Let's go so it's set to wall block, but let's change that to simple wall collision fast, and then we're just going to go destroy. So when it hits a wall, it will destroy it straight away. I couldn't understand why at the end of their run cycle they seem to be stopping for a few frames before they do anything. Oh, okay, because of the Alright, so I'm going to set HS direction to 0, so that means doesn't matter which way, like if it happens to be facing away from the player, it's going to instantly snap around. Now, Flubber says you can have an actor, but you can have an actor move left while looking right. Yes, you can. So yeah, you can use look and move for for separate well, yeah, so you can use look and move separately, so that can be used to do like a strafe type mechanic. Now, I was thinking of making it so that if you duck, then the shot will just go over your head. Actually, I'll need to check what happens in Halo Zero if you can duck underneath the shots. Probably makes sense to be able to do that just so you've got a little bit more verticality. Uh, it's a little bit more vertical, and it shouldn't be too much of a prop. Like it shouldn't be too easy to abuse because there's usually shorter enemies on screen at the same time that like the grunts and the jackals that can hit you when you're ducking. But we need to add a hit projectile EMC. So this is going to be the Master Chief specific version of the projectile collision detection. And just going to change it to say if the projectile origin tag is marine and never get hit by other marines. And then we can go if we actually want to have health and shield here because in Halo you've got some health, and when you lose that health, that's permanent until you get a med pack, but you've got a shield that regenerates after 4 seconds. What we can do here is, so just to start with, we're just going to have it so that it's one bar to begin with. Do we actually have the death animation for the Master Chief? Maybe we don't. No, we don't, because we've got the separate top and legs ones. We don't have the combined one for the Master Chief's death, which I think we can get from here. There we go. And I think having the Master Chief able to be killed would be a good way to end the stream. So that way we've got, like, even though obviously it needs lots and lots of work, we've got a kind of combat loop where the where both sides can see each other, both sides can shoot each other, and both sides can die. Now I'll need to space these out evenly. So How tall is that? Okay, so it needs to be at least 200 a frame. So I'm gonna go what 600 is the width. Height can be one. Actually, I'll set the height to 150. So I want to use multiples of 50. Um, okay, so I'll do what I always do, which is I scale it up first. So if I grab that image of the Master Chief and then bring it into the EPX scale. So it's scaled up, and it's scaled up nice and smoothly. And so when I scale it down, what's the original? So 600. If I divide that by 15, then 132. So that should be 384. And it's pixel resize. There we go. We've got our we have our Master Chief death animation. In fact, I should save this in resources so that if I need to re-import it, if I decide I want to change the method for how I do these converts, I can go. So let's call this Master Chief die. Mixel's Lab says this reminds me of Exelon, but not terrible. Was it Exelon? Was that one of those games that was quite bad on Amiga, but like on ZX Spectrum or Commodore 64, it was actually pretty good? Yeah, I can't remember actually playing it. Like I had a Commodore 64, but I didn't have. I wasn't sort of like part of any club where there was game copying, so I didn't really get a huge variety of games. Yeah, it does seem like there were quite a few games that were really good on 8-bit, and then port to 16-bit not so great. Those are the sorts of things that like it'd be cool to see Scorpion Engine versions of. So the same. So the playability like it was in 8-bit, but graphically 16-bit. Okay, so in our resources, we want to get the Master Chief die. There's only 3 columns. There's only 1 row, and sprites Master Chief. Make a die folder. And yeah, why not? Where did it? Die import 1. So let's rename that to the Chief. Yeah, let's rename that to Master Chief die R. And then we need to 2841. Is that going to work? Well, I'll try using that as the alignment. Let's just see what it looks like. Yeah, that looks reasonable. So I just got to adjust the frame times, and then yeah. So that was going to be 25. Copy that frame. I'll set that to 50, and that's going to have the blink. And then this is we're gonna have the destroy actor. We'll probably want this code to eventually have like restart level or something, but I'll just have it so that the Master Chief dies when it runs out of health. And I need to hook that up here, so I need to let's set the new type and new animation. Oh, actually, no. There is a complication here in that because if it's a top, I want to yeah, if it's a top, because this is a child, so I want it to be the legs. So so I can fix that. It's just a little bit it's a little bit annoying. But if I go to hit projectile Master Chief. Have I got? Oh, I need to have auto clear children, so that will and when I delete the legs, that should when I destroy the legs, that should destroy the torso. So I can go if actor type equals master, is it Master Chief top? Okay, so I've got Master Chief as one word in top. That should be double equals, and then go set as actor is new parent, else actor is new self. So we need to select the legs to destroy. We can go spawn or actors. Oh, level spawn. Oh, no. Don't want spawn on block. Spawn on. Sorry, I just need to find the right command. So I want to spawn the corpse as a separate entity because the Master Chief actor has a lot of baggage that with with the two actor types. I just want to get rid of it. So if I go, okay, it's just spawn. Right. So if I go spawn corpse, and then I set the animation to Master Chief Die R. I also want to set. Do I want to set the direction? I do want to set the direction, so I can go if actor or if new x facing greater than 0, else end. I can go a new new direction is look right, else new direction is look left. Where is facing? And what else do I need to do? Oh, I need to new type none. It will be destroy the live master chief actor and also etc. Right, let's see how this goes. Oh, no, I've already missed. I have messed something up. I forgot to set the. I think I forgot to set the code for on hit projectile, which yeah, so I need to go master. Oh, hit projectile MC, and I need to do that for the legs. As well as the torso. I'll just double check on hit by projectile, on hit by projectile, and on hit by projectile. So hopefully, if everything's gone well, I can be killed by the projectiles, and then I will leave it for the day. Hello, Mono Z, welcome to the chat. Well, I'm just going to check if I can die. Looks like I can't. Okay, so there are a few. Well, one is I haven't got any. I haven't got any health set. Is this bit of code even running? Okay, I'll try running this in debug mode. So we'll check if that code is running, and if it is, we can step through it step by step to see where the problem is. Because I haven't set any because I haven't set any health for the Master Chief, the it should die in one shot. Instead, it just seems to be absorbing the shots. Okay, so it's hit the breakpoint. Let's step through it. We go, okay. Set actor health equals actor health minus projectile health. Oh! Okay, couple of problems. One is have I set the projectile health? I have, okay. Just check my aliases. So projectile health is projectile var1. Projectile var1 is set to 14. That all looks good. I should have stepped through the rest of that code. So if I walk up to a shot from the rifle, okay, so it's running the code. Okay, so hit against the top, so new is the parent. So, okay, so I know there's a couple of problems here. One is we're not spawning the corpse on the player, we're spawning it at the origin point of the level. Okay, so yeah, there are 2 bugs here. Well, at least 2 bugs, maybe more. Okay, so one of them is we need to set the X position to being actor or new X, new Y. But that also replaces our new actor, so we need to, if we destroy the actor here and then we set this new one to consume the X and Y, that should be alright. Hopefully. And we need to remember the I'm just going to use that going to use that delta X variable because we weren't really using it. Well, X. So this will just remember which way we're facing. To new X facing, or which way the legs are facing. So the Master Chief is always going to die depending on what way his legs are facing rather than which way his torso is facing. And hopefully that's all we need to do. So let's have a look at that. Okay, that was okay. So had a bug with the camera follow. So the camera follower is not a. Sorry, the corpse is not a camera follower for obvious reasons, so we don't want the camera to start following whoever we've killed. What we will do here is we want to set the. If I go display camera follow. Okay, so we're not following the camera in any direction. So that should just stop following the camera when we die, hopefully. Flipper says still don't get the delta. Does that give a plus or minus difference between A and B? I mean, it gives a difference between. It gives the absolute difference. So if I yep, okay. So that's that is what I expected. But going back to that code for the the delta x. So I've set the I'm saying absolute, and because it's absolute, this is always going to be positive. So even if the actor is on the other side of the player, this is going to be positive amount. And the reason is, so yeah, the reason is I only care about the absolute distance. Like, since I'm comparing if something is closer, I just want to see if something. It basically just check is 10 meters closer than 15 meters, rather than doing something like is negative 10 meters closer than 15 meters. So that's what the absolute function does. It's just it just calculates that, but then if that happens to be negative, it makes it a positive. Okay, so for the Master Chief, I'm going to set the default health as 150, so that should be able to take about 10 shots from the Covenant gun. Of course, in Halo we don't have just health; we also have shield. So I think next time it might be good to start looking at starting work on a UI for the health and shield. Whoops. Okay, what did I do there? I messed up a couple of things. Oh, okay. Okay, so in each case I hadn't thought of it because the child is a camera follower. Is that... Wait, what? Okay, that's weird. That should not have had... Because I didn't have that set. I didn't have either of those set. I don't know where those came from. There must be a problem with... Let's go back to here. Is there a problem with creating a new camera follower? Oh, hang on. I think I know the problem here. Okay, yeah, so I do have a problem with the this camera follow function, whereas if I don't have anything set, if I go away and then come back, it's gonna... No? Okay, so there's a bug with camera follow. For some reason, it doesn't seem to be possible to set it to just not follow. Yeah, because it's consuming the space after the... It's... Okay, yeah, so I've got... long story short, I have a bug here that I need to fix in Scorpion Engine with this camera follow function. I can just turn it off by... Actually, as an alternative, I can just go... I can go camera position, because that... I can also stop camera follow, and I can just set that to camera X and camera Y. Oh, it's a little bit embarrassing having this bug come up on screen, but this is the experimental version of Scorpion Engine. Okay, so if I get hit now, okay, I'm still instantly dying. What did I do? Oh, I know why. It's because it's... Okay. It's because we're taking health away from the top, whereas we really should be taking health away from the from the legs, because the legs are where it has the health. So we want to adjust this. So we can say, yep. So that's what that's about what I expected. I was going to make an adjustment to... It's going to make it so that the collision box for the that is very thin, and I might want to adjust that up and down a little bit. I just wanted to make it so that you can duck underneath it. Just check. Oh, that was weird. So there's multiple projectile hits in one frame, maybe? Okay, so this will just be a check that if we're already dead, then don't do anything. It's still hitting the player, so I might just take a little bit off the collision. Whoops! Just take a little bit off the collision volume on top. And just make it so, yeah, about there. And then hopefully we can, not get hit if we're crawling underneath the shots. Okay, yeah, that's about what I wanted. So let's I'm just going to give this one last play. I'm just going to see if between myself and the Marine, if I'm playing it okay, so that basically works. It's obviously a little bit easier if I can just sort of crawl up and then shoot, but the elite are going to have more behaviors. For example, they're going to be able to throw grenades, and also they're going to be paired with smaller covenants, so ones that are pretty much the height that Master Chief is when he's crawling. So there's going to be ones that you can only dodge by jumping over top of. That will be it. Yeah, I think that will do for today. Exos Labs is looking really cool. Thank you very much. So I'll leave it here for now. I will find someone to raid. Oh, and I was gonna say on the next episode, I want to start looking at adding that UI, adding the shield and health. So I'm just gonna see who I'm following. Who would be good to raid? Okay, well I will raid Ted Zog, who's playing Degeneration. So yeah, I hope to see you all over there.